Stage 1 of the Arctic Race of Norway was a hilly one from Rosa to Leknes, 181 kilometers in length, with 3 Category 2 climbs and 3 intermediate sprints along the route, the first of which would come on the first passage of the finish line with 59.3 kilometers to go. They would then finish on the third crossing of the line. A hilly day ahead, twice up the Haskadet summit and once up the Nangen. 119 riders took the start. No breakaway managed to get away until Jonas Videbød of Uno X, Adam de Vos of Rally UHC and Otto Vergade of Corendon Circus took off after 25 kilometers of racing. With 154 still to go, they were still in the lead. There was some reaction behind though, and Astana's Magnus Kort and Norwegian national champion Amund Grøndal Jansen of Jumbo-Visma tried to get across. There were multiple breakaway attempts as group went clear and ultimately came back together. Corendon Circus were one team animating the race, with Vergade attacking multiple times. On the first passage of the finish line into Leknes, Grøndal Jansen took the sprint ahead of last year's runner-up Markus Højgaard of Uno X and the Kazakh national champion Alexei Lutsenko. They had covered 48.36 kilometers in the first hour, but it was all together. Stephen Cummings of Dimension Data took off and took maximum points atop the first King of the Mountains of the day at 64 kilometers. The Dimension Data riders' acceleration did lead to the formation of a 33-man leading group that included most of the GC favourites. Lutsenko, Kort, McNulty, Cummings and Gasparotto, Barguil, Zachary and Carmajan, Grøndal Jansen and Mathieu van der Poel had all made it into the leading group. The peloton were holding the gap and they'd brought it back to a minute from 1:20, with Yoka Fuel being assisted on the front by Vital Concept and Team Coop. Setting his intentions out on stage 1, Stephen Cummings took off for the second King of the Mountains point of the day, and he would ensure himself of pulling on the King of the Mountains jersey at the end of the day with still 1 climb to go. The breakaway were working hard, and with the gap now back up to almost 2 minutes, it was even more apparent that the winner of the stage was coming from this group. Alexei Lutsenko was looking good, and he went clear with 27 kilometers to go and took the sprint across the finish line. Højgaard came in second place, with Andrea Pasqualon crossing the line in third. Back out on to the circuit, and a counter-attack meant that the Kazakh national champion would be joined at the front by Stephen Cummings, along with Lilian Carmajan and Pascal Inkhorn. This move ultimately allowed the Englishman to take the King of the Mountains, while Lutsenko would go on to take the final intermediate sprint of the day with 10.5 kilometers to go ahead of Kort and Nierlands. With just 8.5 to go, it was Stephen Cummings who made his move. He was countered by Barguil, Kort and De Tier, and Markus Højgaard would also make it across to the group. This break, though, contained too many danger men and would ultimately be brought back into the fold. It was a trademark Cummings move, though, at just over 5 kilometers to go that took him clear again. And it would take some huge efforts from the chase group behind to keep his gap under control. With 4.6 to go, it looked likely that Cummings could pull off the coup of the day, but inside 1 kilometers to go, and with the finish line in sight, it was all over for Cummings as the lead out from Astana was looking to try and set things up for Lutsenko. But it would be that man again, Mathieu van der Poel, that opened up his sprint. He took 2 stages of the Arctic Race of Norway a year ago, and he sprinted clear to take the victory on the opening stage. Another phenomenal sprint from Mathieu van der Poel. Confirmation of your stage result. Matthew van der Poel takes the stage ahead of Alexei Lutsenko with Van Poppel in third. And the general classification going into stage 2, Matthew van der Poel leads overall from Danny Van Poppel and Andrea Pasqualon.